Hi there, my name is Artie, and I'm here to talk to you about routes, Tropicana routes, Boar's Head routes, Little Debbie routes, potato chip routes, pretzel routes, candy routes. Routes cost a fortune. The reason they cost a fortune is the owners of the route are making a fortune. But you can't buy a Tropicana route today for less than a couple of $1 million, and the same goes for a Boar's Head route. Some of the bread routes and the Little Debbie routes and other nonsense, the chips, you can buy some of those for a couple of $100,000, but you cannot buy a good route for less than $1 million. And I'm going to teach you tonight how you can start your own route for free and make just as much money as the Boar's Head guy with the fancy gold truck. And you don't have to spend any money. Now, why are routes so much money? Because they're making a fortune. Google routes, and all the Google routes for sale, and all the routes will come up from Mr. Route and Route Broker, and you'll see how expensive these routes are, and you'll see how much money these routes produce for their owners. Another reason why routes are so much money is you don't have to work long. Most of these routes, they usually work 3 hours in the morning, sometimes 4 or 5, but some routes you hardly have to work at all. Now, like I said, I can help you start your own route for free, and the products I can give you to start your route for, they're not perishable, so you don't throw anything out. It's better than the Boar's Head route. It's better than the Tropicana route. There's no route like mine. A route is no different than what they call a rack jobber. You know, the people with the routes, with the chips and the breads, they put their racks into the grocery stores and the bodegas, and then they go back the next week. Whatever's missing from their rack, they get paid for, and they refill their rack. Another reason why routes and rack jobbers, why the businesses are so much money, because they're not doing any selling. The stores are doing the selling for them. So that's usually the hardest part in any business. You got to be selling, but not with a route. Not when you're a rack jobber. The stores are doing the selling for you. So listen, because this is going to get even more exciting. Now, what are the products? The products are my fast-selling counter newspapers. This is the fun news. It's full of jokes and funny pictures. The people love it. The parents bring it home for their kids. You got hours of reading in here. You got 12 full pages of jokes and photos and fun. Now this is the mugshot papers. And the mugshot papers, they've been on fire since 2008. They're already in a lot of cities. At the bottom of this page on my website, you will see the videotapes talking about the mugshots and talking about how much money they're making and how popular they are. You're going to see the stories from the news, Channel 7 News and Eyewitness News and CBS News. And they're going to be talking about the phenomenon of the mugshot papers. And the reason is everybody wants to know who's in jail. Which of my neighbors are in jail? And the stories in here are hilarious. The wife turns in the husband for cocaine, for stealing her cocaine. The stories are so stupid that they're humorous, you know. And the people, the customers, they get addicted to these papers, and they don't stop buying them. They buy them faster and read them faster. They love it. Anyhow, I'm going to explain to you now how you can make $100,000 a year and only working 3 hours a week, because there's a lot of people with full-time jobs that don't have time to operate a business, but they want to badly. First of all, this is what a bundle of papers look like. There's 100 papers. They come tied up nice and neat. But the thing here, the way you make all this money, the papers, they sell for $1.59, but These papers cost you under 10 cents. It's 12 pages, all color. You're going to use my printer. I have a special deal with my printer. I've been sending him publishers hundreds since 2009. You're going to pay under 10 cents for a 12-page all-color newspaper. Then, when you give it to your stops, and everybody's going to want your paper because you're going to give them 50 cents every time they sell it for the $1.59. They get 50 cents. But they got to give you $1.09, the money that's left naturally from the sale. So you're going to get $1.09 for every paper that they sell. Now, what's going to happen is because you're paying under 10 cents, you're going to make $1 on every paper. The profit's unbelievable. But what's even better is every single store is going to want your paper. They all want the papers because it's a new SKU for them. And they don't have to invest any money. They just got to stick it on their counter and pay you when you come back to give them more papers. So every store wants it, whether it's the supermarket, the bodega, the gas stations, the drugstores, the dollar stores, the bowling alleys, the restaurants, the pizza places, the diners, the bakeries, the butchers. Every store in the strip mall is going to want to put your papers on their counter. Not for you, because they want to make money. Their expenses are killing them. The rents, the overhead, it costs them often $1,000 to open the door. If they can make an extra $100 a month with your papers hanging around, they're so happy they'll be jumping for joy. Now, how can you make $100,000 a year working 3 hours a day? I'll explain it to you. You take your bundle, 25 bundles, and you go out. You're only off Sunday, and you don't want to spend the whole day working. You go out Sunday from 9 to 12. And you could drink coffee on the route. You go out from 9 to 12. You drop the papers, 25 bundles, into 25 different stops. Now you put the paper in 2,500 stops. 25 stops, that's equal to 2,500 papers you put out into the field. The next Sunday, the same thing. You work 3 hours, you put another 25 stops out, and you do the same thing for the next 2 Sundays. Now you work 3 hours a Sunday for 4 Sundays. Now you've got 10,000 papers out in the field, 100 stops. And that's what you need, because you got to buy a minimum of 10,000 papers. It's going to cost you under $1,000. But this is a business. Of course, you're not buying a boar's head route for $3 million. You're buying 10,000 papers for $1,000, under $1,000. But anyhow, now 4 weeks go by. You got 10,000 papers out in the field. The 5th Sunday, you go back to the first 25 stops. You collect your money for the papers missing, and you refill him with another stack of papers. Most of the stores, practically everyone, when you leave it for a month, they're gone. You know, that's crazy. A lot of times you have to go back every week because they sell so many of these papers. But if you're lazy and you only want to work 3 hours a week, don't go back. You go back a month later. There's no papers. You get $109 from the storekeeper. You give him another stack of papers. But then the next Sunday you do the same thing. You go to the second group of 25 papers, and you keep repeating it and repeating it. The bottom line is, even if you work 3 hours a week, you're turning over 10,000 papers a month. So you're making $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 a year. That's working 3 hours a week. You're in and out of the stores in 5 minutes. You know, you're not. The worst thing is if a guy's got 3 papers left, you look, oh, there's 3, so you don't owe me. You pull out your calculator. And then you dump him, because if he didn't sell your papers, you just go to the next guy. You want your paper in as many stores as possible, because you don't know what store the customer's going to go into. If there's 20 stores on the strip mall, you want it in 10 of them, because the customer could pull in, and this time he's going to the deli. Next time he's going to the pizza place. So you don't know where he's going to go, so you want your store paper in as many stops as possible. So, but anyhow, that's how you're going to make over $100,000 working 3 hours a week. And it gets better because when you have your papers in the gas stations, they're 24-hour places for the most part. And a lot of the grocery stores, they're open 24 hours or most of the day. They're going to be selling papers for you while you're asleep. You're going to be making money while you're sleeping. The dream has come true. Finally, you can make money as you're sleeping. You like that idea, don't you? Because all you hear is that all over the internet, that you can make money while you're sleeping. But none of that works. That's why on my YouTube I let everybody put that stuff there, because it's so crazy, and I think whoever pushes the button, they deserve it. Whoever gets involved, they deserve to be misled. There's nothing free in this world, but you know, this is a no-brainer. The stations, the bodegas, they're open 24 hours. People are going to come in for cigarettes in the middle of the night. They're going to come in for coffee. When the paper is out, they're going to buy it. It's no rocket science. So finally, you can make money as you're sleeping. And it's real. It's legitimate. It's not a make-believe story. That's just how life is. Again, the profits in this business are unbelievable because the papers are pre-priced $1.59. They cost you under 10 cents. It's hard to believe, but believe it. I'm associated with a printer. It's a special technique to do newspapers. It's not the offset printer. So, but anyhow, we're going to get you the papers for under 10 cents. And when you drop your papers off, if you're worried about your money, which you don't really have to, these are business people. They are dying to sell the papers for you. They want to make money with your product. They didn't invest any money, so they're so happy. But if you're scared, you can give them the consignment agreement, and they'll sign the consignment agreement, which says every paper that's missing, they're going to pay you $1.09 for. And it doesn't matter if the burglar comes in the store and grabs the whole stack and runs out. You get paid because that's the arrangement you made with the store. It's better that he ran out with your paper than ran out with the guy's whole cash register, you know, or ran out with his crystal merchandise. So that's just part of being in business, that he has to pay whatever is stolen. But you get paid. Meanwhile, it's up to you. You could have hundreds of stops, or you could have thousands of stops. There's no limit. Everybody wants to be your distributor. Everybody wants to work for you. You can have a route bigger than a half a dozen Boar's Head truck drivers. And you don't have to spend no money. You'll never have to throw out any perishable food. This system is unbelievable. Go to the bottom of my webpage. You're going to see the videotapes where they're talking about the mugshot papers and how crazy they're selling. And you're going to see Channel 2 News and Channel 7 News. All the news channels are reporting on the craziness that's surrounding the mugshot papers because the people want them so badly they can't keep them on the shelves. And you'll see it. The videos are at the bottom of this page. And that's what I'm going to teach you to do. But don't worry. Some of those videos, some of those mugshot publishers, they're not my students. Those guys are using real mugshots. We're not. We're using fake mugshots. We're distorting the faces. Nobody is going to be mad at you. Nobody's coming after you. But it doesn't matter. The public doesn't know this. They still are enjoying looking through the paper. They're enjoying the humorous stories. But you're not taking any risks like the original mugshot paper guys used to take. But watch those videos. You'll get an education on the mugshot paper business. And my students that are working now with the fun news, the joke paper, they're doing even more business than the mugshot paper. because there is no more Mad magazine. There's nothing for a guy to bring home for his kids to put on the kitchen table that he don't have to worry about. But that's not the case with the Weekly World Fun News. It's fun entertainment. The parents love to pick it up. The price is right, it's clean, and it's good for adults too. I mean, it's got regular jokes. They're just not dirty, you know. Can't keep everything dirty in life. But anyhow, how are you going to get this done? Easy. I've been teaching people to do newspapers since 2009. This is my sample paper that I provide to my students when they go into the other business, which is selling targeted advertising. But take a look. This is all color. This is the kind of paper that's going to cost you under 10 cents. Boom, 12 pages, all under 10 cents. This is one of my tabloids. This is one of my papers. And what I've been teaching people, for the most part, since 2009, is to do things like Valpak, is to do magazines like Clipper magazine. This is targeted advertising, and I teach that to you also, provided you go into this type of business. Depends what business you want to go into, like the coffee news. But on the same token, you don't have to buy a franchise. I teach you the business. And yeah, the criminals are not after me, but all the magazine franchise people are after me. They want to kill me because the guys from Home and Land, they get $50,000 for a franchise. And the guys from all these other franchises, they're so mad that I'm teaching everyone how to do it themselves. And I have no problem teaching everyone. It's easy. I teach you on Skype, and Skype has a share screen feature. And while I'm designing the ads and the content, you're watching on your screen and you're watching me do it. After you watch me do it, then you go down to the bottom and you push on the program icon, and now you're in the program, and now I'm telling you what to do after you just watched me do it. So I have a system of teaching my students how to do this, that they're able to learn effortlessly. And the first night you'll make a beautiful ad. Or we could do the first page of your paper. It depends which way you're going. If you're going to be selling advertising in the direct mail targeted medias, or you're going to be doing one of the pre-priced papers. But anyhow, the idea is this business is great because you work out of your home. You know, I'll teach you to lay the paper out. I'll teach you to do the content and the ads. I'll teach you how to get the whole thing done from the very beginning to the very end. You could email me with any questions. You could call me. The phone rings in my house. Don't wake me up. I won't take you on as a student. And don't press no buy now buttons because sometimes I'm too busy and I can't take all the students when they want to come. You might have to wait a week or two because I'm really busy. I'm the only one teaching this expertise to the public, the industry secrets, how to do it yourself, which is why you could do it so cheap, which is why you could make so much money. Anyhow, if you have questions, email me. If you're watching this just on YouTube, click on the annotation and make sure you visit the website, because when you go to the website, you're going to really see another 11 videotapes all about my different business opportunity, all pertaining to you learning how to do your own papers. Another thing is, when you have these papers and they're all over your neighborhood, people are going to contact you. And they're going to want to buy advertising from you. Yeah, you don't have to sell nothing, but they're going to be buying your papers, and they're going to own businesses. And then they're going to say, you know what? Let me see about advertising in there. And then you're going to put a little thing there. This size ad, a penny a paper. So what's going to happen is this is a 16th of a page. By the time you sell a guy a quarter page, that's $400. When you sell 2 ads in your paper, you've almost paid for your whole paper. If you're really greedy, you can sell 6, 7, 8 ads, and fill up half your paper if you wanted. But the idea is to make the paper good for the people to enjoy, so you don't want to fill it up with too much shit. But you can put some advertising in your papers, and that's how you pay for your papers right off the bat. And you're not selling advertising. People will call you. When they see this, they're going to call you, because that's how business people think. Oh, this paper looks great. I love to buy it. I see it in all the stores. Let me call that guy. Where I was in the South, for a few years, I was living in the Carolinas. The mugshot papers were in every gas station because they were sold to the Scotchman chain, the Kangaroo chain, the big gas station, the Raceway chain. So whenever you went into these places inside where they're selling the coffee and everything, there was the mugshot paper. The only thing is, since then I've taught people to do the paper with the fake mugshots. And now, even though those stores were taken, what those publishers didn't realize was that not everybody goes into the gas stations to buy cigarettes. They go to the gas pump, pump the gas, and go. So only 1 out of 20 people go into the gas station. So my publishers are putting the paper in all the other high traffic locations, like I mentioned before, the groceries, the restaurants, the bodegas, the gas stations that aren't chains, so we're in gas stations too. But anyhow, the idea is my publishers are selling 10 times as many newspapers as the guys you're going to see on the videotape when you watch the videotapes on the bottom of this page, because my business plan is better, enlisting all the independents to sell the paper for you. So this is another thing. Even if you're in the South, even if you've seen the paper around, there's so much more room for you to grow this paper. And then you'll also go with the joke paper. So the idea is, when you work with me, you're going to be you're going to be taking advantage of my years of success, my years of making a fortune in the publishing industry. And don't forget, you're going to have some supermarkets and some groceries that are busy, and they're going to have 6 registers, and you're going to put a stack of papers by each 6 registers. And by the end of the week, there won't be a paper in the grocery store, because they're getting a lot of traffic. They're getting 1,000 people coming in every day. At the end of the week, it's 7,000 people. So your 600 papers that you put are gone. When you go back to that guy the next week, there's no more papers there. But what's more important is, you made $600 for going into that supermarket and dropping off the 6 stacks of papers, because you're going to make $100 on every stack. Could it be any easier? It can't be any easier. Don't wait for it to get any easier, because you're going to be waiting forever. A lot of you have been waiting forever already, waiting for the internet system, waiting for the online system. It doesn't get any closer than this. You're going to make money while you're sleeping. You don't have to buy the $1 million route, but you could make a better route, because you could have thousands of stops. There's no limit. And you could make money in a whole bunch of different avenues with the skills that I'm going to teach you. You could be doing your own Valpak, your own Clipper magazine, as well as your own pre-priced newspapers and magazines. You could make a fortune, and I could help you. I'll teach you everything I know. And I've worked with hundreds already. And I've put people in business in Canada, a lot of them, and England, and Scotland, and Ireland, all over the world. So don't waste any more time. Stop procrastinating. The system is here. Whether you want to sell targeted advertising and have something like a franchise, like the Clipper magazine, or the Coffee News, or the Valpak, I can teach you to do it for no money. You don't have to buy the $75,000 franchises. You want to do a homes and land? No problem. You want to do an auto trader? No problem. It doesn't matter what you want to do, because the skills I'm going to teach you are all the same, whether it's a monthly paper, a weekly paper, a yearly journal, a tourist book, it doesn't matter, a golf magazine, a nightclub book. No pornography. I don't do any pornography. Don't try and tempt me. I'm not going to be looking at any bad photographs. Anyhow, reach out to me. Visit my website. Click on all the categories. The more you know about this business, the more you'll be able to make money, and the easier it'll be for me to teach you the business. And if you want to get rich with the pre-priced papers, watch the videos at the bottom of this page. If you're not on my website, naturally they're not at the bottom of this page, then click on the annotation and go to my website. Here's your chance to build $1 million route business for free. You don't have to buy the route. And once you get 1,000 stops on your route and you're making $300,000 a year, you sell your route for $1 million. Because when you Google routes and you see the Tropicana route, the guy that's making $300,000 a year on the route, and they all are, that's $1 million route. A lot of them are making $600,000, and that's a $2 million route. But the routes are so much money, it's unbelievable. And I told you why. They're great. You're not doing any selling. You're walking in, you're filling, you're collecting your money, you're working short hours, and you're working easy. But you know, none of those routes are as easy as my route. When those guys would be hand trucking in those 6, 7 cases of the juices, man, they'd be falling down and sweating. And I would walk in with a bundle of 100 papers in each hand like nothing, and just walk in and give them to the guy behind the counter, and he would put them out later in the day at the main counter. But the idea, it was so easy. And I was making more money than they were. And you can make more money too, and you can make it as you're sleeping. All you got to do is reach out to me. I'll teach you the business. Make sure you watch those videotapes at the bottom of my website. And make sure you look over my website. If you call me up and your questions are off the wall, then I'm going to know you're not meant for business, and I won't work with you. Because I don't need your money, and I don't want to work with people that are not capable to make money in this business. You don't got to be a rocket scientist, that's for sure. I never graduated high school, and I can't text on a phone. And I don't know why. I don't want to learn how to text on a phone. I keep my phone off in my glove compartment. If I have an accident, I'll turn it on and call my wife to help me. But I don't keep my cell phone on. But my home phone, that's the number on my website. And don't wake me up. None of my students since 2009 has been disappointed with my services, so nobody wakes me up, and I don't want anyone waking me up, and I don't want to disappoint anyone. So when I talk to you, I'm going to find out if you're smart enough to own your own business and make $1 million a year. Anyhow, don't be a stranger. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you get to the website. If you're on the website, make sure you watch the videos at the bottom of this page, and make sure you watch all the other videos on my website, and then email me some questions that make sense, or call me up. Don't be a stranger. Bob, I'm losing my voice. I can't talk no more.